very much. Thrilled to be in Sheffield. I watched the Chancellor's autumn statement coming up on the train today, and it was so clear that this is a government which is devoid of ideas, has run out of any hope for turning this economy round, for giving ordinary people what they need and what they deserve. But it isn't just about people in this country, it's about the people out beyond our borders and not so far from our borders. One of the first things I wanted to do when I became leader of the Green Party was to go to Calais, because I wanted to see the refugees there and the refugee camp there. So I got in the car, I'm a Green, but I got in the car and I went over there and we met with the refugees in that camp in Calais. And it is a scandal that we are the 5th richest economy in the world, but less than 50 miles from our shore is a refugee crisis, and that refugee crisis is still there. And in that camp were 1,500 children who are fleeing conflict from Sudan, from Afghanistan, many men there who are suffering post-traumatic stress, the French police standing at the outside of that camp, lobbing in tear gas, but not really helping out anyone in the camp, a British government that knows what's going on and won't even put anyone on the ground in that camp to help people. Far-right groups going into that refugee camp, dragging out the children to beat them up for entertainment and strip them naked. Children being raped because they've got no one to advocate for them. And the best we could do is to try and process a few asylum applications, but essentially play a game with the French government, a game of brinkmanship where those children were pawns in that diplomatic game. This is a scandal. And it's a scandal, as we just heard, driven by the lie of austerity, that we won't fulfill our obligations to those beyond our shores, and we won't even fulfill the obligations to those who most need the support in our own country. It is a scandal that the government has closed the Independent Living Fund. It's a scandal that local councils like Sheffield aren't ring-fencing that money, that former money for disabled people, as they should be doing. It's a scandal that we're going to see a £30 reduction in the employment support allowance for those who the government admits are disabled or sick and cannot work, but yet they're going to have £30 a week taken away from them. It's a scandal that we have people committing suicide because of sanctions imposed by this government, people who are mentally ill, who have money taken away. It sends them into a spiral of depression and they can kill themselves. It is a scandal that we have coroners passing verdicts that this is what has happened and putting it in black and white, and a government that will not take action. We can be so much better than this as a country. We should be so much better than this. After the Second World War, we were 250% more in debt than we are today. But we set up the NHS, we set up the modern welfare state, we came together, we had the vision, we knew that there was enough money, there were enough resources to do it, and we were determined. It just required the political will. Today we are wealthier, we have more money, we have less debt than we had then, but we can't even look after our ageing population. We can't even invest in our NHS. You know what? It is a scandal that since 2010, we have had less investment in the NHS as a proportion of GDP, the longest decline in investment in the NHS than at any time since the Second World War. I've just been in hospital with my son, who's disabled, 14 years old. Our operation got cancelled 4 times before he was able to have it. Many people are going through the same thing, and the best that people can come up with is a debate about whether people should be showing their passports before they get care in the NHS. That is the wrong priority. It is a distraction. The real issue here is a failure to invest in the NHS to provide a proper public service that we need and that we all deserve. I'm here to show solidarity on behalf of the Green Party with the People's Assembly, with Unison today. And I think the left needs to unite. We need to come together. We need to put aside our tribalism because the stakes are too high. Where we have common ground, we need to be working together. And you know what? I'm worried. I don't know whether we will get a Labour government. I don't think the Labour Party on its own is strong enough to do that. But you know what? If we come together, we will be strong enough. The Tories are pursuing a policy of divide and rule. They're setting the working poor against those poor who can't work. They're setting the disabled against others. They're setting migrants against indigenous communities. They're setting parents against one another in the quest to get children into grammar schools. And it's all to cover up their own policy failure. And the only way we will highlight these huge failures is if we come together on the left and work together where there is common ground and say no more. So I urge you today to go and talk to that member of the Labour Party, talk to that member, yes, even of the Liberal Democrats if they're here. We've got to work together, we've got to beat this government, and that's only when we're going to come together and work together that we're going to bring an end to these draconian cuts and this government which is running our economy and our society and our communities into the ground. Thank you.